Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Triggered. I'm your host, Zachary Clark, and you all know my co-host, Adam Furman. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really good. I went to a used book sale, and I was happy with the stuff I got for $1. So,
Ooh, any magical finds?
I was actually eyeing the Fred Saberhagen's sword books, and I was just looking on eBay and stuff for them and whatnot. And then I found it hardcover, the first three in one book, 3-in-1, if you will. And it was just like I don't know if the library had it where you have a plastic bag and anything you can fit in there is $1.
Ooh.
Like the whole thing is $1 for a bag. So anything was like, oh, maybe. There was some weird books I found. I'm like, the title was kind of funny, but other than that, I was like, I don't have time to read that because my to-be-read pile is huge anyway. So
I'm never getting to half the stuff.
Yeah.
I really like that small bookstore in the library. You can find some weird stuff in there for affordable prices.
Yeah, I got the hardcover. What's the Tolkien Children of Hurin? Yeah, I got that hardcover. It was brand new. Like, I don't think that the person who donated it ever opened it up. I got you got it for like $3.
It's like one of my favorite ones.
It's like color illustrations and stuff too. So yeah, doing good.
Sweet, sweet. Glad to hear it. Oh, let me. There's something I forgot to check. Here we go. Let me look right here real quick. And where? Oh, what is this? 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 Okay. Yeah, we're coming to you live from inside one of those unidentified flying objects, as reported by the federal government. We're doing God's work in here, too. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, no.
Tonight's episode is entitled The Great Commission for a reason, my friend. But we'll get more into that later. Don't you folks worry about that. But first, we have some news stories coming to you from the Scanner Radio. This is not the one I want first. Hold on, let me look at this. Yeah, here. We were just talking about this. 2200 block of Elm. 2 people bitten by a dog or dogs. EMS en route. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Dog bite attack. Dog bites man. Slow news day in the Scanner, apparently. Apparently, though, there's some people in the comments below that seem to think that it was some abused dog that had been reported, but the police had refused to do anything about it. There had been some scuttlebutt around town that the state's attorney is loath to prosecute animal abuse cases. Well, he refuses to bring in charges. And this has been going on since before the new state's attorney got elected. And I don't know much about that, but
I hear just in general, here we don't bring animal abuse cases.
Yeah, unless it's like something super egregious. They let people abuse their animals.
When I'll have you know, when I was just into undergrad, there was an incident in my town where I was from, and apparently all the residents of one block in their morning to get their newspaper opened up the doors and found pieces of a rabbit in each one of their like sidewalks, and come to find out, there was one of their neighbors had like their prized rabbits missing, like blue ribbon rabbits and stuff. Yeah, it was actually, incidentally, it was one of my classmates, who was always a problem child, and he cut up the rabbits, and then put them all throughout the yards of his neighbors and stuff. Really messed up stuff.
It's pretty messed
And
up.
the state's attorney specifically said, he's like, I'm personally going to be prosecuting this case. It's heinous. So it's not all state's attorneys. Hashtag not all state's attorneys.
I don't know. Maybe old Gary Farhad get out there and prosecute somebody if they dismembered Betty Jane's prized rabbits or whatever.
Yeah, maybe there's the threshold. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
It's just, dogs attacking people.
Yeah, that's bad. We don't cotton to that. But if you're beating your dog and starving it and torturing it, making it really mean, whatever, it's your dog. What's in our business? What you do with it? I don't know. Maybe the two are related. Who knows? I'm just a simple man, Adam. I don't know answers to these complicated questions. But fight season occurred again, but it's been slow going in Quincy. We haven't had too many fights, but we had a couple reported. 4325 Harvey, Holt's Trailer Park. A neighbor attempted to break in and beat a resident with a baseball bat. Oh my gosh. TTFD, EMS, and ACSD en route.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, jeez. That's what I said.
Attempted to beat him?
Yeah, there was an attempt to break in and beat a resident with a baseball bat. So, I don't know. Really, probably not classic fight season stuff. That stuff happens in streets and whatever. But
yeah, and it's been rainy.
I know, that's what I think it's been slow. We had a cold week, little fights. We had a rainy week, very few fights.
Right.
Fight season really isn't what it's cracked up to be so far. But there's a lot of summer left, Adam, so I have faith that
absolutely
those competitors in fight season will bring it around at some point in time.
Yeah.
And lastly, we have QPD on the parking lot in the 500 block of North 24th with subjects that were fighting. And apparently it was just an employee and a guy in his 40s.
Lame. An employee of what? What?
Huh?
An employee of who?
I don't know.
Oh.
He's just a commenter. He probably doesn't even know. Doesn't even know. He's just making stuff up. Whatever. Fight season. Fight. Hey, let me look into the camera for a second. Hey, you. All you rabble rousers out there. We are not entertained.
Oh, no.
Not that I'm saying you should go fight people in the streets in a gang of 30 men all wielding baseball bats, but
Oh my gosh.
it gives us more things to talk about on the show if you do. So, I mean, I'm not telling you to do that, which could be considered instigation of violence and get me in trouble, but I'm just saying that if you were to, it wouldn't be entirely bad anyway.
And if you were to further break out into song in the midst of this, probably national news coverage.
And if you could get one of the bystanders to record it on their phone and then send it to the scanner so that he could post it on there, I think everybody wins in that situation.
Yes.
Frankly. But who am I to say? The only redeeming thing is that fight season isn't just a Quincy affair. It happens all over, including in Portland, Oregon.
Oh no. No.
This was
Oh, okay.
this is from a few days ago. 5 days ago. Breaking! In downtown Portland by the Justice Center Central Police Station, a man with a long knife chases a man and tries to stab him. Portland police did not respond to the scene. Dun, 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 dun. I feel very safe going to Portland these days. You know what? Maybe we should just move there, Adam. We might be able to find a cheap room to rent.
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
What are you talking about? I actually
I don't know.
didn't pull that tweet up because it was pretty
Okay,
distasteful. But
it was. Dude, it was pretty disgusting. Is the word you meant.
distasteful, yes. Unlike this ice cold glass of rye whiskey that I'm sipping on tonight. Ooh, yes.
The
But no,
cops did nothing.
huh?
The cops did nothing.
They didn't respond. Just like we got more important things to do.
Don't they have a duty to protect you?
No, they do not.
Cops?
Correct.
They don't have a duty to protect American citizens?
No, they do not.
Well,
I mean a large D duty, like as a fellow man, like in the chivalry sense. Yeah, obviously. But a legal duty, they do not. Like they aren't liable to you for damages if, say, right in front of them. Like so, there's cops there, and they're on duty, and then right in front of them, somebody like attacked you, beat you up, stole your money, and then like spit on you and kicked you while you're on the ground and whatever, and they just stood there and watched the whole time. No legal liability. No, no legal duty to intervene and protect you.
Now, what would you say to someone if they said, I don't believe that. That's not true.
I'd just laugh just like that. I'd be like, oh, oh, oh. What do you do? I mean, I don't know. There's so many cases of this. I think we talked about it last week or the week before about that guy that got
did we?
stabbed in the subway train. There's a a knifist who was roaming the streets of New York. And he was on a knifing spree, stabbing and cutting up people. I think he might have killed some folks. And so the NYPD had strategically placed officers around the city, and two of them had been stationed on a subway train. And they were locked into the engineer's compartment so that if the guy were to try to get in there and start knifing engineers, the cops would be there to stop him. Maybe catch him,
Yep.
you know, he's on the loose.
Yeah, because the engineer is that's crucial infrastructure for New York.
I don't know. Anyway, so the guy actually shows up on that train. Knife guy. Knocks on the door where the cops are. The cops say, who are you? He's like, I'm the police. And the police are like, no, you're not. We're the police. And then the guy pulls out his stabby weapon and then pulls a passenger up and he says, I'm going to stab this guy. And then proceeds to stab him. Stab, 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 stab. Anyway, in the struggle, eventually this guy, and there's a whole YouTube video, like animation from Crackdown.
Of the description, yeah, it's not like a graphic.
Yeah. The guy that gets knifed eventually disarms the guy, and only then do the police like step out of the thing. The guy's bleeding out, by the way. You know, the stabbing victim's bleeding out on the floor of the subway car. And the cops are like, hey, you can get up now. Arrested him after he was disarmed by you. Doop, doop, doop. And took all of the credit for apprehending the guy, not even referencing stab victim. Stab victim took this bad, obviously. And,
That's how supervillains are made, by the way.
he tried to sue the city, but there's precedent. They ain't liable. They don't have to help you. Cops testified. They said they didn't want to come out because they thought he had a gun. They thought that the murderous guy had a gun on the subway.
Seems like even more of a reason to step in to protect your citizens, but what do I know?
Headed toward Grand Central with a firearm. And the cops are just like, no, well. What? Oh my God. Adam, I didn't want to start this. I didn't want to get into this already, but I'm just going to say that cops are trash.
Oh,
As
no.
a general rule. there's so many cases. What was that? There's that guy. It's not just this. It's not just this kind of stuff. I mean, I know some cops, and they seem like great guys, and I don't know. I would hope that they would save me if I was being stabbed in front of them,
The key is to be friends with them, right?
having attended grade
So
school
then you-
together, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. We're members of my church, etc., etc.
Right,
Maybe
exactly.
they seem like decent folk. I feel like they would intervene to save me, but some cops even go as far as to instigate mass shootings.
No. You got it wrong. Wait, the cops will instigate it?
Oh yeah.
Is that what you said?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. In recent scuttlebutt, it's the FBI again, up to their old tricks.
Oh, the FBI. There we go. That's the key. I've read a couple. We had a couple cases of entrapment that we had to read in law school, and that was some outrageous stuff that they were allowed to do.
Oh yeah, I don't know. This seems to go over the line in this one instance, and I will just read some of the one of the highlighted passages from this article from CNN that this guy had pulled. This is a part of a conversation between a person who the FBI had identified as being a potential Islamic extremist, and an FBI agent who was acting as a honeypot and interacting with this guy. All right, set the stage.
Begin scene.
It's like I knew you all my life, wrote the Islamist. I will ask you to marry me, but not now. Please, don't rush me. I'm depressed and very scared. Jonna said she dreamed of committing a suicide attack with Ryan as an expression of undying love. Yes. This is the person who is the honeypot FBI agent was telling this identified as unstable Islamist that her one dream of the man that she has made fall in love with him is to commit a suicide attack with him. All right. I'm not crazy. It is my faith. It's what I believe. Jihad is my dream. And then this guy, who is actually sounding more sane every second, says, honestly, you need to think about what you want. I can't be in this game.
That's like relationship red flags right there.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. Ryan wasn't into the idea of a violent jihad as an expression of spiritual love. He repeatedly told her that she should rethink her plans and marry him instead. They could be happy.
Just forget about it. We can just get married.
They could start a family. Don't do anything that will hurt you, yourself, or other people, he wrote. He later added, depression is real, but don't let it ruin your life.
He seems encouraging.
Yeah, I know. Weeks of desperate messages to the FBI agent culminated with a foreboding phone conversation. He told her he had purchased a rope to hang himself. Oh, no.
Oh, jeez.
Only in like a minute or two it'll be over, he said. My family's going to be sad for a little while, but they'll get over it. The FBI agent responded that the only proper way for Muslims to kill themselves is in an act of violent jihad.
Oh my gosh.
Identified as unstable. Confessing he's about to commit suicide, so he's suicidal. FBI agent, you know what you should do instead of killing yourself? You should probably go on jihad and commit a suicide attack. Okay.
Yeah, jeez.
Like I told you
I just
before.
kind of think of like, there's that the Star Wars one where Palpatine's just like, do it.
Yeah.
This
is one of the most outrageous things I've seen in a while. Oh my god. Like I told you before, he said, when it's for the sake of Allah, when it's jihad, or when it's based on our creed. Wait, no, I think this is her. Or for a cause that's only time Allah allows it, said the FBI agent, but not to put your life to waste and just hang yourself like you say you want to do. That's not the right thing to do. So she's really going all out. She's like, nope, not doing like that. Later in the conversation, he said he did not want to hurt anybody else. He was interested in only taking his own life. If I do it to myself, it would be easier, said Ryan. I wouldn't get in trouble, and I'm not trying to get arrested again. 2 days after the call, he got an unexpected visit. Federal agents arrested him for possession of a firearm by an unlawful user of a controlled substance. Yes, you got that right. The FBI, after they tried to talk him into committing a violent suicide attack in the name of jihad and Allah, arrest him. Not, I don't know, but because they discovered probably in their conversations that he used some kind of drugs, and they believed that he was in possession or owned a firearm. Interesting. Ryan didn't have a new pistol. He didn't have any guns. The firearm in question was a revolver that Detroit police had confiscated months earlier during a traffic stop. He didn't even have a gun. This was at a prior time. They said, like, I don't know, when you still had the gun and you had been using drugs, that's illegal. The FBI agent who encouraged Ryan to kill innocent people for Allah was an undercover FBI employee. Ryan's first love, Gaada, was also a fictitious persona. People were trying to get this guy good, man. In a court filing, prosecutors declined to reveal what agency or department may or may not have employed the individual who pretended to be Gaada. Guess what, folks? This happens all the time. And, interestingly, the person that put this into my radar had an interesting thought. Hey, how dope is it that we probably never would have heard about the FBI's involvement if she had succeeded at getting him to shoot up a place? Oh, well, that's an interesting point. Had he just gone on a rampage, died in a hail of gunfire, suicide by cop after murdering a bunch of folks.
Memory
just
hole.
One of those crazy jihadis.
Yeah, it's just a crazy mass shooting. Don't pay any attention to this Las Vegas stuff. What? Las Vegas what? Oh, the Sin City? Yeah, come visit.
I never heard of any mass shootings in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. Me either. Not that you mention it.
None after the initial reports. This is another one. And it was linked to something else, but it was another FBI agent told an ISIS terrorist just before he shot up a crowd hall. This was an actual shooting that occurred. Told him to tear up Texas and otherwise commit violent acts. This was from April 2017. I can't remember if I had one more. Oh, no, that's something else. We'll get to that. I just don't know. Hey, here's what I say. If you have decided to serve the community by becoming a police officer, and I have a lot of respect for you. That's a hard job to do, and you're often putting your life on the line. If you abuse that position to try to encourage Islamic extremism and to fail to protect people who are being attacked by knife-wielding maniacs, you're worse. You're worse than the garbage on the streets that you're meant to help us, normies be safe from.
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is, but this ain't it. One interesting thing with this Portland thing was I watched this video and I thought it was hilarious. Because it's just some idiot. He's like running down the street. We got knife guy. And we got a guy getting chased by knife guy. And they're running at a decent speed, but really not that fast. And knife guy just doesn't have the cardio. Guy needs to hit the elliptical a little more often. If he's going to be trying to run down people with a knife on foot. See? Chased guy's like caught his breath, and knife guy's winded. He's got to walk at him. Jason Voorhees style. I think he just threw it. Wild. Don't worry, folks. The cops aren't coming to help you. Hashtag triggered. If Fred is in the chat again, feel free to weigh in on this situation and what you think about these police officers that are refusing to help people in Portland. Or maybe these FBI agents who decided that it's a good idea to try to provoke jihad. Oh. But fight season isn't just in Quincy, and it's not just in Portland or America, but it crossed the ocean and went all the way to the Middle East. Dun dun da da da! Israel and Palestine, 11-day war. Dun 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 dun. Netanyahu says conquering Gaza an option, as touted imminent ceasefire in doubt. Dun 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 dun. Fight, 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 fight. Oh wait. They've agreed to a ceasefire. 11-day war is ended. I think it was yesterday I saw, but most of what the Israeli leadership was intending to do was basically degrade Hamas's ability to continue to fight. And so that was things like disabling their rocket locations and storehouses, targeting command and control leadership, and destroying the tunnels that they had dug all over Gaza and underneath the border into Israel, which they were using to carry out terrorist attacks and to smuggle weapons and bombs and things. People. Whatever. And they had taken care of that, basically, as far as they wanted to do. I remember it was like 3 days ago. It was probably last week, actually, now I think about it. Last week, Hamas leaders had actually called for a ceasefire, but it was refused.
Bless you.
Thank you. The interesting thing I saw about this was apparently, and I don't know, because I wasn't there, but this is weird. This is how I kind of understand it so far. But Biden's advisors had discouraged him from reaching out to the Egyptian president because he is a puppet for the military or whatever, because they removed the Islamic Brotherhood from power in Egypt through that military coup after the military coup or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they didn't, and they refused, and so Biden was talking to Netanyahu and doing whatever, and nothing was working, and Netanyahu's just going buck wild, and no ceasefires ever, and Hamas is continuing to launch rockets and whatever. And then eventually they're like, well, I guess you could call him. So Biden calls the Egyptian president. The Egyptian president basically calls the leaders of Hamas, and he says, hey, guess what? The ceasefire is going into effect on this day. And they're like, but... And he's like, no. They're going into effect. Okay, Dad, I guess.
Yeah.
So this war, this 11-day war, fought over these past 11 days. Go figure. And it was protracted and extended because old Joe Biden and his brain trust over there in Washington completely misread the situation and refused to utilize all available tools in the toolbox to do so. So, to the extent you're one of these people that are like, oh, it's the lives of the Palestinians being sacrificed, the Zionists, look at Joe Biden and say, hey, you're partially at fault. Congratulations. I mean, I don't know. But he probably could have ended this thing a few days earlier, at the very least. Did not do so. But it's over now. Over now. Over now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
now. Over now. Over now. Until 6 months, a year from now, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I haven't got too deep into it. But I do recall several times during my life there's been peace plans hashed out and whatever, and peace proposals offered and rejected by the Palestinians for one reason or another. And I don't know. I don't know how it all works. Here's my feeling is I don't get it at all. I don't understand the history of the thing from the beginning. I don't understand the displacement that happened. Not entirely sure what exactly happened. But there was some native. I don't say native. There were some people that were living in Palestine before the Israelites came back from, exile or what have you, following the Holocaust.
Yeah. Well,
and they were
Zionist
displaced.
movement. Yeah, the Zionist movement began actually probably before the turn of the 20th century, and the movement increased more and more, and like the Holocaust was like the tipping point, to where it's like a realization, almost like a collective realization that there is only one place for, only one home for Jews from a Jewish perspective. But sorry, you're going on.
Oh, I don't know. Because, I understand that it was like a British protectorate at some point in time.
Yeah, after World War I, because that's when the Ottoman Empire had, it was broken up after the British snuck in with the whole Lawrence of Arabia thing and used the fomented hatred between the Arabs and the Turks to, rebel against the Ottoman Empire. So the Ottomans were fighting they were fighting two fronts then.
I see. So, all right, things happen. Go back further, Ottomans and further, whatever. But at that point, it's like end of World War II, and I don't know if it was part of the deal. The deal that Israel becomes a thing. Do you know?
I don't remember. I know. I think that they became like officially recognized in I think it was 1948.
But at some point in time, a bunch of Jews from Europe and Russia came back to Israel. And then there was a war. And the war displaced a number of the people that were living there. The Palestinian folk, the Arabs that resided in what is now Israel. and then they moved them into the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. And they were upset about that. I mean, reasonably. But that was 70 years ago? I don't know. And then, after that, several Middle East wars, borders moving around, terrorist attacks, Israel defending itself, Israel land grabbing, if you will. Moving into those territories that are by the terms of whatever peace deal, of whatever war that was fought, not, it's West Bank or whatever, it's Palestinian territory, etc., etc. But no, because our people are actually settling in it and whatever, I don't know. So I don't know. I think that it's a weird situation. I don't know how you resolve that exactly. My simple brain as a child was always like, well, why don't they just be friends? And they could just have one state. You could let them all come back in. And they can have a government together. La 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 la. I'm like, I don't know. Part of me still says that might work. Whatever. Let's just mix it up and see what happens. No more West Bank, no more Gaza. It's Palestine. Israel style.
Now none of you get the name, right?
Yeah. It's real fun. But it did prompt me to look at some, like, old maps, like, biblical times maps of, of the area. Because it wasn't, like, the Kingdom of Israel, because it was, like, weird, right? Because there was Judea, so there was the Kingdom of Judah, and then there was whatever. But before even Israel, and before they had kings, it was divided into the different tribes, and so it wasn't like in Israel. There was, like, the tribes of Israel, so there was, like, Israelites all over the place.
Yeah.
But there wasn't, like, a unified Israel. It wasn't like that, Even after the kingdom, because Judah was still a thing that existed apart from...
Well, right, they had there was one king, right? King David is King Saul was the one who unified them all, and then at some point, I can't remember exactly, but you're right, where it broke off into there was the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah. And I don't know, I haven't seen the map enough times to like peg which is what.
Right. I don't know. So there's this weird thing, right? Because it's always like, oh, whatever, and they were all sort of warring tribes of Israel the entire time, and they weren't really ever, It's just those stiff-necked people, those Israelites. You never get together, and because of their sins and whatever in the Bible, God would punish them by putting them under the rule of foreign kings, and so they were repeatedly conquered by the Midianites or the Babylonians or whatever was going on. But so you have that, and it's like, okay, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I know from what I know that Israel was a pastoral, nomadic people who then settled down and formed tribal territories and empires in the area, but they're native to that land. But you have these weird people on the internet that are coming out and they're like, actually, Israel's fake and made up, and it was never a thing that existed in the first place.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm like, well, that's a very strange thing to say. I don't understand it. The whole thing's weird, wibbly wobbly. Well, I'm glad that I don't have to figure it out. They haven't made me president yet. Good for them. I'd be making some changes around here. For one thing, I'd be definitely be getting to the bottom of this. Defense Department confirms leaked Navy UFO videos.
This was the wait. Was this okay? So they confirmed the videos that were like leaked like a year and a half ago.
Yes.
Yeah, jeez. I thought that. Okay, I thought that they had already done that.
They're now speaking openly
And,
about them. They're having Senate hearings to get to the bottom of this.
okay.
I don't know what Senate hearings are going to do, but okay. You gotta act like you're doing something. People are talking about UFOs, man. What's going on?
Okay.
But
Whatever.
so here's the general deal. Air Force and Navy pilots and whoever are flying airplanes up and down the coastline of the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean. And on radar, on their weapon sensors, they pick up objects, unidentified objects that are flying. Hence the name, unidentified flying objects. They're tracking them multiple ways. So they've picked up these objects on both radar and infrared sensors, and visually they can see them out there. And they're flying at like 13,000 miles an hour, stuff like this. It's absurd stuff. They're like pulling 500 G forces and doing things, according to some of the calculations from some of the videos that have been taken. And they like disappear into the sea. And nobody knows what these things are. They haven't caught them. I thought if I was one of those guys, I'd be like, oops, weapon slip. And let a missile fly off, see what happens. Why not? That's probably why I'm not an Air Force pilot.
It's great. It's like, what's this thing? I don't know. Just shoot it.
Shoot it. What is that? It's invading our airspace. You're the military. It's invading our airspace. Engage it.
Exactly.
It could be the Al Qaeda's flying drones that can pull 500 G's and move at 13,000 miles per hour.
500 G's.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But weird stuff. I don't know. They don't know what it is. They won't say. Some people were speculating, and they said that it's either A, somebody out there's got this kind of technology, B, it's our technology, but they're not saying what it is, or C, it's obviously the aliens. I don't know. Usually they get stuff like that. It's some kind of natural phenomenon or some kind of reason or whatever. Hard to say.
Yeah.
I, as we discussed, believe that it is actually the Atlanteans. Prove me wrong, Internet. And here it is. I'll set the stage. This is my grand theory for ancient advanced civilizations. But back during the last glacial maximal period, that is, when the glaciers were at their most extensive, extending from the poles, it had the effect of reducing the sea levels to an area, to a point where a lot of extra land area was exposed. There was an entire plain between Great Britain and the European continent that was open, and anthropologists and geologists call that Doggerland. There's some evidence of some extensive trade and stuff that was happening there. But it's during this time that there was advanced civilizations. And this time period lasted for, thousands of years. And so, like, in the same time span that we've been, had history, it could have come and gone in the window of when this happened. And so it's not out of the question that some sort of advanced civilizations could have been existing there. But, as it goes, one of such civilizations was the Atlanteans. And Atlanta existed somewhere in the world, but has since been engulfed, destroyed, if you will, in a global flood when the ice caps receded and the glaciers melted and the water rose, covering all of the earth. But before their civilization was destroyed, the Atlanteans had gained the power to reach to space. They had gone as far as to found a colony on the red planet Mars. But when the catastrophe occurred and cut them off from Atlantis, the Mars colony was stranded and they were forced to live underground for millennia. But now they see with their knowing eyes that man is returning to space and Elon is taking us to Mars within the next decade. So they must surveil us. They must see what kind of people we've become. They must learn our memes. And so and so they've sent their drones to investigate us. And we've just now reached the point where we can surveil them ourselves, where we can even catch a glimpse with our feeble technology and our grasping childlike minds of what awaits us, Adam, what awaits us on the red planet. All well and good, I say.
Sounds good.
I hope they're out there. I hope they are.
And they're viewing this, and they're like, "Oh man, this one guy's got it."
I hope so, and I hope for if no other reason than that we can bring them the Lord.
When they would already know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're so entrenched in Atlantean culture maintained that they haven't opened their mind to Christ, opened their hearts to the Lord, and allow His grace to fill them with belief. But I ran into
What's that meme you got there?
I ran into this fun meme from this I believe it was a Catholic priest. And it's funny to me, but I liked it a lot. And it's the Wojak meme on top. It's like, how atheists think Christians will react to discovering intelligent life on other worlds. Ha! Aliens exist! No, that means my religion is false somehow! How actual Christians react. My army of priests and missionaries, let's go convert those aliens. And then it's an army of Chads, and they say, yes! 100%. And that's why this episode is entitled The Great Commission, because obviously, if we did find intelligent life out there, we would have to extend to them the knowledge of Christ and their salvation. There's some interesting questions of theology about not being man and whatever else that means. What is
well,
man?
Also, like, right, exactly. Do they actually fit into the scheme of redemption? Are they fallen creatures in the first place?
Yeah.
Maybe they're not.
How does that even work? So weird.
It's like repent and believe God, and they just responded, yes, we did. Like, yes, we've never stopped. And
you guys stopped? What are you doing?
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like, are you idiots? That guy made everything. We never ate from that tree.
Yeah, it's like repent and believe. It's like, we left you guys here on Earth. You guys tainted everything we said. Bye.
You haven't even repented yet? Oh, what are you doing? Oh, we should have learned more with our drones. Oh, silliness.
Yeah, he was like, wait, what? And he's just like, I'm actually 6,000 years old. I'll never die.
Yeah, what? You guys die? Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Oh my gosh, that's horrifying.
This is the strangest thing that's ever happened to us. Everyone else didn't eat from the fruit of the tree. What did you guys do here? That's it. That's it. That's what it is. They're just looking at us because we're the only idiots that broke the law. And they're like, we didn't figure out what happened here. They've gone terribly awry on that planet.
Yeah, I think actually, I think C.S. Lewis wrote the space trilogy, and there's aspects of where he touches on that, where there's other, the other planets and stuff have like a higher holiness to it because they didn't reject God. Very interesting.
All right. I'm going to cut out a couple things here. I don't know. Well, if in fact the aliens are in need of salvation, and if indeed they're subject to, the same redemptive route to the Father that we know to be the only path, then we will bring it to them, and baptize them in the waters of the Jordan River, because as we all know, that's the only way that it really counts.
It doesn't count unless it's the Jordan River, right?
It doesn't count otherwise. 100%. But I mean, in the meantime, we could always try to win the lottery by getting vaccinated.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Ohio wasn't apparently the only state with that plan, but New York has joined it. But this time, Cuomo's trumped them. Not only could you win $1 million, but you could win $5 million if you get the shot. And I'm just looking at J.B. Pritzker, bad look on my face, saying, "Hey, where's my chance at the millions?"
It's tied up in all those state schools for the COVID relief.
Don't even get me started. There was another story. Oh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
That's where it's at, Zach.
We're almost out of time. I just wanted to touch on this and bring it back around. Yes. This is probably I don't know. It's probably, I don't know. I don't know how effective it is. Hard to say. Probably more effective than doing nothing. And probably cheaper than paying everybody like $20 or whatever, right? Because that's going to be, you got more than 1 million people in New York that you want to get vaccinated. Like $20 million. We're paying everybody $20? It's outrageous. But they're trying to get away with it on the cheap. Just give them a coupon to the Sizzler or whatever. We're not allowed to go into restaurants yet in New York. It's locked down. You're only allowed to go to nursing homes if you have COVID. Oh. And finally, we bring you your Ice Cold Fact of the Week, coming to you straight from Ice-T's Twitter account. Ice Cold Fact. Keeping it real is not keeping it real to other people. It's being true to yourself. Therefore, only you know if you're truly keeping it real. Ice Cold Fact coming straight to you from Ice-T himself. Only you truly know if you're being true to yourself. And it's only a fool who tries to keep it real by following another man's path. Ice Cold Facts. One more thing, because I was on Ice-T's account looking for Ice Cold Facts, and I came across this image of old Ice-T tweets, and it says, Ice-T says, "And I stand with gamers." Because they said gamers stand with you, Ice-T. And someone asked, "Do you stand with goths?" He's like, "I got no problem with goths at all. I stand." So cool. And then it says, "He's got the juggalos too. We got mad respect for Ice-T." He's like, "I stand with the juggalos." This man stands with the juggalos, Adam. He's like, "Ice, do you stand with journalists in this time of economic disruption in the media sector?" Journalists? That's a slippery slope. Ice cold.
Yeah.
Oh, Ice-T, Ice-T. You're a national treasure.
Absolutely.
Oh. But that's our show for you tonight, folks. Really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with all of your friends, comment below the things that you like the most. You can even follow us on social media. Our Twitter handles are located below our faces. Adam, did you have anything you'd like to add here at the end of the show?
No, I know. It's good. It's good.
All right, folks. Well, that's the show, and we will see you next time on Trigger.